what I can explain is the officer put...
I'm not working on hunches here, man.
Judges often deal lightly with police officers, but not David Fleischer.
That sucks. Then write a better report. Too bad, so sad.
For him, everyone is equal. The first case was of a man charged with DUI, but the officer made a stupid mistake in his report.
We were in an accident on 59. Couldn't take advantage. He doesn't get prior.
Any prior DWIs?
I don't believe he's got any priors of any kind. No.
Good morning, Mr. Lozano. Sir, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 7, 2025, at approximately 10:08 p.m., the officer was dispatched to a major crash on the 200 block of South US 50 freeway in Harris County, Texas. The officer met with other officers at the nearby gas station where they had moved the scene. The wheel witness stated she was rear-ended by the defendant and was able to put the defendant behind the wheel of the vehicle. The officer observed front-end damage to the defendant's vehicle, and the officer made contact with the defendant, the driver, and occupant of the vehicle. The officer observed slurred speech, staggering, and disorientation and confusion. The standard fields of writings were conducted, HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant stated he did not drink any alcohol that day, and the defendant was read the DIC and refused to provide a breath specimen. A blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Williams?
The judge sounds like there's no probable cause because US 50 is not in Harris County, Texas. That's what the road they said it happened on.
Where is it?
It said US 50. That's not in Harris County.
And the DIMS does say 200 block of South US.
Are you serious? Do I need to look it up? I don't know.
Your Honor, the DIMS further says, during the scene of the accident, which occurred on 200 block of South US 59 freeway, Harris County, Texas, but counsel is correct that before they said he responded to a major crash call for service on the 200 block of South US 50 freeway. So they put 50, but then later in the DIMS, they did put 59. So they're just two addresses, so I don't know why that's there. But they did say the accident occurred on US 59.
Well, that would be a different story.
David was as surprised as I was. The cop put in 2 different addresses, failing to do his job properly. Now the report, the field sobriety test, they all amount to nothing if the incident happened somewhere else.
Do you have any other evidence that is pointing to that it's at 59 or is it 50?
So, Your Honor, the only thing we have is that statement from the officer which states that the accident occurred on 200 block of US 59 in Houston, Texas 77004.
Is that what really happened or was it on 50?
So that's what I can explain is the officer put...
I'm not working on hunches here, man.
And I understand, Your Honor. The officer initially said he responded to a crash call for service which occurred on US 50, but then later said the accident occurred on 59. So let me see if we...
Definitively point where it is.
I'll check the OR and see if they clarify in the complete OR. And in the OR as well, the officer says, which occurred on 200 block of US 50, Houston, Texas 77004.
So is 50, it's not in Harris County?
He switches between 50 and 59 in the offense report, Chief Judge.
I know probable cause.
Yes, Judge, and we understand.
All right, Joe.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Lozano, be careful out there. You know what I mean? Really. Just listen to, he's great. He'll help you out whenever you need, you know? All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
In the end, the judge did in fact find no probable cause and let the alleged suspect go with some fair warning. Another incident where Judge David tossed the police report out the window was when it was being used to racially profile a person.
Judge, I'm here on docket for Mr. Nathan Rhea, Judge. I'm seeing if you'll revisit probable cause in this case.
You said Rhea?
Yes, sir. RHEA, Judge.
Okay. Is it on docket today?
Yes, Judge, it's my understanding.
Jail, maybe jail docket. I see, yeah, it's jail docket.
Yes,
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
So on December 29th, 2024, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle traveling 91 miles per hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone. A traffic stop was initiated, and the officer observed the driver leaning over the console, trying to conceal something next to the console in the front passenger seat. The driver and the passenger did not see the officer as he was standing near the driver window, where the officer observed the driver have his hand between the front seat and the center console. The officer ordered the occupants out of the vehicle and observed a plastic bag containing a green leafy substance with an odor of marijuana as the front passenger exited, and the front passenger immediately took off running, and the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, stated he only knew the passenger to be named Junior. The weight of the marijuana was 0.3915 ounces.
Judge, looking at the totality of the circumstances, the state has not been able to allege enough probable cause that my client knew or intended that there was marijuana in his possession. I understand that the allegations say that there was some type of furtive movement, but my client yielded to law enforcement show of authority, and then gave law enforcement his identification. The passenger ends up leaving law enforcement. He stays there. And again, there's not enough to establish that he knew or intended that there was weed in his car. The allegations also don't, pinpoint where the marijuana actually was. So this was unbeknownst to my client, Judge.
So he comes up, officer comes up to the car, and he sees him trying to conceal.
Yes.
Right?
I don't think that, I believe the allegations say that that's what the officer maybe seems to believe, but after further review, there's nothing that says that's definitive or that that's even probable cause. For all we know, he was rummaging around to give him his ID, which he did. That's why he got picked up.
No, but he says he's got a plastic bag and he's trying to put a plastic bag behind the console.
Your Honor, they found his hand between the front seat and the center console. They observed his hand in between the console.
There was a plastic bag too?
It says that they observed a plastic bag containing the green leafy substance. Yes, Your Honor. And that was after the passenger exited. So when they walked up, they saw him with his hand in between the console and the front seat, where they observed him trying to conceal something.
So, Judge, in the DIMS, it says, quote, as the front seat passenger exited the vehicle with his hands up, I saw a plastic bag containing a green leafy substance. The way I'm reading that, Judge, is that's more attributable to the passenger and the alleged marijuana that was near his person than it was my client.
The defense makes a very valid point. The officer wrote the report, which signals to the green leafy substance belonging to the passenger more than it does to the driver. The defense then tells the judge about the real suspect.
Again, the rummaging around, Judge, I don't think there's enough of a nexus to establish that. My client yielded to law enforcement show of authority. He gave law enforcement his ID. While he's standing there submitting to law enforcement show of authority, the guy with his hands up with the marijuana that's around him leaves. So if anything, this should be attributable to the passenger.
Saying that the weed is the passenger's client, not your client. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and based on the allegations, Judge, there's not enough probable cause that attributes my client knew or intended that marijuana was in his possession, when everything just as much points to someone who ran away from the cops.
Read the DIMS again, and then who is the one who's allegedly hiding things? Is it?
It's the driver, Your Honor, which is the defendant. The officer said the officer observed the driver have his hand between the front seat and the center console, and previously...
Okay, wait. So between the front seat
in the center console, and the officer said, I observed the driver leaning over the console trying to conceal something next to the console and front seat passenger, and that's where he observed his hand in the front seat, between the front seat passenger and the console. So the officer observed him trying to conceal something, and all the DIM says in regard to the passenger and the marijuana is that as the front seat passenger exited the vehicle with his hands up, I saw a plastic bag containing a green leafy substance smelling of marijuana. It doesn't say anything in regard to it being solely in the passenger's area, because it said previously he was trying to conceal something.
Again, so my apologies, counsel. Judge, if I may.
He's actively trying to conceal a plastic bag?
Your Honor, so with this situation, when we were briefly speaking, allegedly this driver and passenger don't know each other, but then in this situation, should this person, the defendant, be pulled over for speeding, one would think he'd keep his hands 10 and 2 and not be trying to conceal something, so that's where we're at. And if you didn't know the passenger, didn't know that they had the marijuana, didn't know anything about the marijuana, why are you concealing? Why aren't you keeping your hands at 10 and 2?
Judge, anytime somebody's driving, again, I think there's a reasonable inference that goes just as much to my client was trying to go through his belongings, give law enforcement the correct identification so that he could submit to law enforcement show of authority. Again, just because it says concealed doesn't mean that there's enough allegations that actually substantiate that anything was concealed.
The best thing about this judge is that he listens to the cases without showing any bias. We can see his opinion change over the course of the defense's statement. The arresting officer's report did have holes in it.
We understand that my client was speeding, Judge. My issue, though, is that they're saying that the front seat passenger is getting out of the vehicle and then he sees weed as the front seat passenger gets out. My client is already.
So who do they both have weed? Is that what happened here? Do they both end up with?
My understanding, Judge, is that there's enough probable cause that actually goes toward the passenger being in possession of the
Did they find weed where he was trying to conceal whatever he was trying to allegedly conceal?
The allegations are not clear about that, Judge, which is why.
Admittedly, they are not clear about that because all it says is that as the front seat passenger exited, they observed the plastic bags. But for previously, they did say.
Where?
It does not say, Your Honor.
That sucks. Then write a better report.
It does, but they did say
No.
they're concealing something between the
I need to know, where is the weed in the front seat passenger?
All right, there are enough affirmative links still because he's the operator of the vehicle and is within his wingspan, and they saw the previous furtive movements being made to draw the inference of a knowledge. So there's enough affirmative links between him and the contraband for probable cause.
I don't work on hunches.
It's not a hunch.
Hunches here. I mean, it's not that hard to write in the report. Well, I saw weed where I found his furtive movements. You know?
Yes, Your Honor. They didn't clarify that, but they did.
Then, too bad, so sad. Sorry.
I will say, Your Honor, this did just happen 2 days ago. If we could wait to get the offense report, maybe he articulated it
No,
more.
I mean, he's in custody. I don't want to wait 2 days because he's in custody. If he was on bond, perhaps, but he's in custody. He's in jail just sitting there, I'm with you. Okay.
Thank you, Judge Fletcher.
Judge David took his time and eventually sided with the defense. These cases highlight the incompetence of our police force. They can't even write a report clearly. This next one shows how a mistake was pinned as a crime on an innocent civilian, and Judge David handles it beautifully.
Sure, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, you're charged with criminal mischief. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and bless you. Up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 23rd of 2024, officers were dispatched to a Chevron gas station in Harris County, Texas, in reference to criminal mischief. Officers made contact with the complaining witness, who stated that the defendant was at pump 2 and complained that his card was not working. The complaining witness stated he went outside with the defendant and saw that 25 cents had been pumped, then the transaction was canceled. CW told the defendant that he would have to use the card again to start another transaction. The defendant became irritated and the complaining witness made his way back into the store. The defendant followed him into the store, asked for $30 on pump 2, went out to his motor vehicle and began to pump gas. The defendant entered the motor vehicle with the pump still attached. $30 had been completed on the pump, and the defendant left without attempting to remove the pump, causing the pump and the hose to be separated from the in-ground meter. There were $500 in damages.
Now, without getting too deep into the specifics, the judge asked an extremely important question.
Did he mean to do it or was it an accident? Because remember, this is a specific intent crime. You didn't tell me anything that he's upset to where he intentionally took off with the device.
I understand, Judge.
You know?
I'm just reading based on what the offense report had said. It says the complaining witness did not see him even attempt to remove the pump.
I know, but people forget. You're busy, you get this, accidents happen, right? But if you're telling me that he's flipping it off, giving him the bird, yelling at him, and then he but I don't see the intent.
I understand, Judge. Let me see if there's anything more. I pulled up the offense report.
There's no rush. Take your time. And if you want, we can come back and do this a little bit later so we can do everything else and then give you more time. You want to do that?
I'm looking through it, Judge, and I don't see that
So, as we all know, criminal mischief is a specific intent crime, right? The facts, as we read this criminal mischief, I don't see intent. I may be wrong, but what I see is that I have a gentleman, he gets kind of frustrated that the thing is not working correctly. I guess the pump. So he goes in, pays $30 for prepaid gas, goes out, pumps the gas, and takes off. And I guess in thereby ripping the thing. But is it a mistake? Did he specifically intend to do that? You tell me. What do you?
One moment, Judge.
Take your time. The way I read it, I thought it was a mistake.
I don't see anything per the DIMS nor the offense report that connects specific intent to this defendant.
What was it again? What was your last name again?
Perez, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Perez, I'm going to find that there's no probable cause to go forward in the case. Understand that this means that I just didn't think that there was intent to rise up for a crime. Whether they come after you still for that, who knows? But
Following dismissal, Judge.
thanks. If you want to go ahead, well, they're going to dismiss the case now, so you're free to go.
Good judges like David are the sole reason we still have some faith in our legal system. The criminals get punished and no innocent gets wrongfully thrown in jail. The kind of people that don't deserve any mercy from the judges are predators, just like this one, who was caught exposing himself to children while at a local Chick-fil-A. 911 call tells us just how bad the situation was.
At the 911, what's the address to your emergency?
I'm at the Chick-fil-A at 33rd and Broadway. This is about a gentleman who has been exposing himself to minors. He's been identified by a couple of our guests here.
Is he still there now?
Correct. He is still here. He is eating currently. It looks like he's wearing what he was wearing in the picture that was posted on y'all's Instagram.
As the cops arrived at the scene, they quickly identified the suspect, Jeffrey Osborne, and asked him to come outside. However, the suspect decided to do something even more idiotic and was quickly taught a lesson that he desperately needed.
Plan 6 to 533, he's going to be in the men's restroom. Hey, we're going to go over here and talk outside real quick, alright? We're just going to go ahead and talk. We're just going to go out here and talk out. We're just going to talk outside for a second so we can get away from people. Cool. Hey, you have an ID with you?
Stop! Stop eating a day! Turn over! Turn over your stomach and get it again! Roll over! On your stomach! Put your hands behind your back! Behind your back!
Thankfully, officers arrived quickly and arrested the suspect on the spot. Osborne was taken to the police station and later charged with felony lewd acts against the... Now, as disturbing as that was, the next case involves young girls who face an even more terrifying threat.
When two girls come to a police officer and say, hey, some guy was trying to get me in their car, I gotta follow up.
On August 7th, 2021, a couple of girls were out on the streets playing when a man approached them and tried to get them into his car. They refused and quickly flagged down a nearby officer to report the incident. As they were talking, the creep decided to come back to them, but seeing the cop, kept driving ahead. The girls instantly recognized his vehicle, prompting the officer to pull him over without hesitation.
What are you doing with those two girls over there? What? Why were you talking to those small girls? One of them said you were trying to get them in your car.
Excuse me?
Yeah, they said you waved them over, said get in my car.
No. I was going down here, going to the loop. They're going down their bike. They crossed the street. I beeped. I told them, be careful. because they just crossed over.
Put your car in drive and turn the car off. Or park and turn the car off. You got ID?
Yes, sir.
Can you pull it out for me?
Why? What's the reason?
Well, it sounds like you're trying to solicit these young girls.
No, I'm not. I only beep because I was going across the street. They crossing the street when they don't have to stop over. Yes, sir. They only cross the street. I only went like this.
The creep was caught red-handed, but just like all other predators caught in the act, he created a fictional scene and kept on lying about the incident. Fortunately, the officer wasn't buying it and had no intention of letting him off the hook.
Yes, sir. That's what I did.
What's the plate come back to?
I don't have to put anything on, sir. It's under my lady's on. It's on her car, but I never done.
All right, man. Let me just see your ID and I'll get you on your way, okay?
Okay.
Do you have a driver's license? Are you okay to be driving?
Okay, so to be honestly, this is what just happened right now, okay? When I came to the stop, I only went like this.
Yeah.
Because they were crossing over. They were crossing over, and that's what I did. Look.
I mean, I didn't stop you for no reason. You obviously saw me talking to them, and you saw them point at you.
Because when I was crossing,
you think they were just making stuff up? Oh, you're saying they didn't say nothing.
No. I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Okay, so what'd you say to them then? Because you obviously said something to them because they told me that.
No, you making me tell. My hands are arrested.
Well, you have a revoked license, so you're driving without a license right now. So I could put you under arrest.
Okay, sir. So I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I swear to God. I only beep because I was coming through. I beep because I didn't want to hit them.
Okay. 141.
That's all I said. I swear to God. That's all the thing I only did, man. I stay over here around the corner, sir. Sir, I swear to God, that's what I did, man.
It is extremely sad to see how the kids aren't even safe in their own neighborhood. Monsters like this individual should be jailed and never released.
Well, the other officer is talking to the girls, and we're going to figure this out, okay? You're not like a sex offender, you don't register as a sex offender or anything like that, right? I know that's a tough question to ask and answer. But, you know, when two small girls come to police officers and say, hey, some guy was trying to get me in their car, I got to follow up. You know what I'm saying? I got to...
What?
What you said.
Get into the... Oh, man. No. You're going to get me confused, man. No. Do whatever you want to do.
Do you have insurance on the car?
Send them on their way. I got their insurance.
No, sir.
No insurance? So what exactly happened?
Okay, I was coming down the interstate. I was coming down here. So I beeped.
141.
Is there in the way?
No record.
Yes, to move because there was people like on the way, and I just went. That's all I did, sir. And then when they went this way, and then I don't know, they freaked out. That's all I did, sir. I just went like.
No matter what he claimed, he sealed his fate the moment he returned to the scene. When the officer finally pointed this out, the desperate predator had nowhere left to hide.
I'm coming down right here to look. I'm just talking to my friend right now. Look, I don't got no gas. Look.
Hey, turn it off.
Okay. I need to get gas right here at the gas station.
Well, there's a gas station here, but if you went down that way, why would you come back up this way?
Yes, because
It's a little weird, right? Like, do you have kids?
Weird? What do you mean weird?
Do you have children? Or no?
Sir, you go in different ways. Look, you get a camera, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, thank you. So, be careful what you're saying and be careful what you're telling me. So what's going on?
All right, do me step out of the car.
Sir, I don't have to.
Yes, you're under arrest because you don't have a driver's license. Step out of the car.
Sir, I'm telling you
Sir,
what I'm telling you.
You're under arrest for not having a driver's license.
Sir,
So step out of the vehicle.
The officer decided to arrest him for having an expired license, but there was a completely different reason for this. Sensing that this trip to jail could be far more serious, the predator refused to step out of the car, only making things worse for himself.
2808
You don't have a driver's license. It's a traffic ticket. You're going to get a ticket and you'll be on your way. Fleming, sooner the better. No, come on.
No. Hey, hold on.
No.
Sir,
Out of
why
the car.
you doing this? Why you
Out of
doing
the car.
this?
You're
Why
not
you doing
driving.
this? Why? Why you doing this? Hey,
Fleming.
why you? Sir,
Put your hand on. Let me sound more fight. Give us your other arm. Other arm.
yeah, they are bogus.
Stand up.
See how they kick my ass?
Stand up.
Get this on camera, man.
The suspect continued to resist, just piling up more charges in the process. If he were truly innocent, he could have cooperated and then cleared his name calmly. Instead, he was now in serious trouble as officers transported him to the police station.
Well, you did this to me, man.
I told you were under arrest several times. He's in
It
custody.
hurts, man. Hey, he hurts.
One in custody.
He hurts. He hurts.
Stop fighting with us then, man. Relax. I told you you were getting a simple traffic ticket and you decided to start your car back up?
I didn't do nothing. You decided to hit me over there. You did this.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I got my judge. I got my lawyer.
I didn't tell you to solicit a
Yeah,
minor.
yeah.
officer's flying there, so
I'm
advise to
What
take
the
a
fuck
slow
you
down.
talking about?
Yeah,
All right, can you take, man, this shit hurting, bro. Oh, this hurting, bro. This hurting, bro.
Cuffs? Here. Stand
Yeah,
up straight and I'm
mother-
gonna loosen your cuffs. Stand up straight.
I'm a lawyer.
Okay, good. You're gonna need him.
Yeah,
We're
I will.
asking a 14-year-old to get in your car.
For who? Man,
Step in the car. Told you, all you were getting was a simple traffic ticket. You fought.
I did.
The suspect was taken to the police station and was charged with 2 counts of disorderly conduct for his behavior with the girls and 2 counts of resisting arrest. Moving ahead, here is another instance when a desperate creep was caught preying on teens.
He went over her and he was like, come here. Like, Loomis, I was like, bro, go away. He's like, all right, come here. I was like, bro, and I got up and left.
On August 23rd, 2024, officers arrived at a high school football game after receiving reports of a person causing some disturbance. As they arrived on the scene, they had no clue how things would be far worse than they imagined.
Hey, sir. Sir, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah. And so we had some complaints about you. Is there any incidents that happened over here? No. No gestures made to anybody? No. Hey, man, well, I can smell some alcohol coming from you, bud. Have you been drinking? Sir? Hey, sir.
On the run. Gain of 5 on the play.
No, we're just trying to make sure you're not driving. We don't want you to get hurt. Your kids driving. Yes? We just don't want you to hurt nobody, bro. Or yourself. That's what we're just asking. You have someone that can come pick you up?
I'm just trying to see my daughter.
Daughter?
While the cops questioned him, a couple of minors approached the cops and made some shocking revelations regarding the actions of this predator.
He was touching us.
Jet Whitmire
He was trying to touch me first. He hovered over and told me to come with him and stuff.
It'll be first down, Bulldogs
He was touching me and I like backed away. This girl came over and like grabbed him to move away.
Where did he touch you at?
He almost touched me.
He almost
I went away. He was like hovering me over her. And then he went away. He tried to get my attention. He like kind of elbowed me, not hard, but he like elbowed me and like looked at me.
Yeah, he tried to touch you. Where did he try to touch you at?
Well, he was like hovering over me.
He was just
Well, so he was standing right there. We didn't know him or anything. So we were standing right there. And okay, so first I noticed was him staring at her. She was taking her coat. And I saw him staring at her. And I looked at him. I was like, what the heck? And then we just like thought we sat down. And then like, say like 5 minutes later, he went, looked at us, looked at me, and went like, he like should have been down because he went over her. And he was like, come here. Like Loomis, I was like, bro, go away. He's like, why? Come here. I was like, bro. And I got up and left. And then with her, he didn't say anything to me. Yeah.
The officer was surely baffled to hear the teenager's complaints against this drunk man, and he knew that he had to arrest him. But with the suspect treating the situation lightly, they had to act quickly before it escalated further.
Hey, sir. You got an ID on you, man? Yeah, I know, but do you have an ID on you? Is there investigating something that's clean? Sir, I'm gonna have to ID you, man. So, you got something ID on you? Or name, date of birth? I know, but we have to investigate something. There's a claim made. Sir. Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying, but I need it. Look, I don't want this to escalate further. If you're not, no, I know. But look. So this is what's going on. Look. This is
crazy, right?
Okay, look. You're gonna have to provide me with your ID. You're not in trouble at this moment, but
I'm not in trouble.
Look, you're not. Look,
it's crazy, right?
Look,
it's cool.
No, don't get touched, man. Look. Hey, sir. Hey, you're not free to leave. No, you're not free to go. Look, you're gonna get detained. Relax, bro. Relax.
Detained for what?
You're being detained for an investigation.
Investigation for what?
We got an investigation.
Oh, my daughter's right. Are you kidding?
Can you come upstairs and Dude, quit fighting.
The officers quickly moved in to hear the girl's account once more, and this time they were left stunned by the details as she explained what had transpired.
That was after I told him to go away. And then this girl, I don't know if she's like her niece or something, but it was this little girl. She came out of nowhere and took him away. And then that was it. And then we went to the concession stand and we came back. And then that's when that happened with her.
And that's when he grabbed you.
He went like I'm him, and he pushed his elbow to me, and he like kept looking at me. I could see that he was looking at me, and like he was wanting me to look at him, but I just kept looking straight.
Okay.
And like I moved away after. He was there for like a good maybe 20 seconds, just.
Okay. And then did he like physically grab any of you guys?
No, I didn't let him touch me. Well, he tried.
What the is going on, dog?
The individual, however, refused to believe the claims made against him, insisting that he was simply accompanying his 13-year-old daughter. Well, seeing how drunk he was, there is no doubt that he is a lying piece of shit who needs to be detained.
When they saw you hit that little girl. Hit what little girl, bro?
Alright, so
I got my dog. Bro, it's the
did it work, bro? Yeah.
Are you kidding me, dude? What, bro? What the What? I'm for my daughter, bro. Wait, why you guys got me handcuffed? What?
I said, get up. I'm just assisting them. They're doing an investigation.
For what, bro?
The system. I don't know.
So I have some balls and say, what the
He just told you, bro. He doesn't know. He's just here.
yeah, so I have some balls. What the did we do? What did I do?
I just told you.
I didn't do shit, bro.
I just told you, battery.
Bro, battery or what?
Resisting
failure to obey the officer's commands. Okay. What the? Bro, it's my daughter, bro. Here. Okay. All right, man. I try to help you. I try to help you with your daughter, and you don't want to give me no information. So
I give you information. What?
I can't do anything more for you.
Information on what, bro?
To try to locate your daughter. Try to find your daughter.
She's right there.
Where? You don't even know, man.
What do you mean, bro? She's right there.
Where at?
Shut the up, bro. All right. She's right there.
Despite this stern resistance, the officers proceeded with the arrest and ultimately took him to the police station.
Come on, bro.
Bro, you call John.
I'm not gonna
call John. No, seriously. Call John. Hey, listen to me. Call John.
I can't call him, bro. I can't, man. You can talk to him later.
Call John. What the my kids? What the you doing? Hey.
How much do you have to drink, bro? Just
Call John.
Roughly, man. How much do you have to drink?
Come on. Call John.
Oh, man, you can't even stand up straight, man.
I can stand up straight. You know me.
No,
call John.
No, man.
Bro.
I can't, bro.
Bro, call John. Bro, my kids, where they at, bro? Hey, what the
The creep was eventually charged with battery and resisting arrest. However, when it comes to creepy predators, this next stalker really crossed every limit.
You take me to jail?
Yeah.
Please.
Predators are among the worst criminals imaginable. There is no excuse for their actions and they deserve no forgiveness. That is why law enforcement is always on the hunt for them. Here are some of the most notorious predators getting caught in the act.
What's up, Hey, Daddy.
After more than 2 months of conversation, Lelescu and an undercover officer eventually planned a meetup. When Lelescu reached the decided location, police officers entered and took him into custody. One more monster is now behind bars, and I hope that David Fleischer takes his case and locks him up for good. Well, that is all for today. If you liked the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next upload, and thank you for watching.